Leen Zaben, welcome to Pivot.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here, and I've been trying to organize this in my head for a while. I wasn't telling you, let's do a pivot, but now I feel is a really good time, considering I've actually spent a lot of time with you in the last, let's say, year. And and we've connected on very different points that are important to us, I would say.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited to be here. And I'm so curious about how this is going to go.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Nothing
I think
to
it's
be
because I
nervous
know
about.
you so well.
But that should be a
And
positive.
that you know me so well,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm scared of what you're going to ask me.
I think, honestly, the most intimate yet difficult ones are when I know the person really well. Like, I found my brothers really difficult. I'm not sure why. I still don't get it. I'm like,
Okay.
It's literally my twin brother sitting in front of me. But anyways, so you are, as a profession, somebody in the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not just in the food industry in the sense of you're a chef or you have a restaurant, and I didn't really understand how many facets there are to being in this industry. And then you've also merged the food side of things with culture and with writing and with the photography. And so there's so many angles to you. So even though you've told me a million times what you do, I will still say, I'm not sure I fully understand it because I haven't necessarily even seen you in action.
That makes two of us.
So why don't you explain exactly what it is that you do?
I think that kind of evolved over time because I never intended to get into this industry. It was more of a hobby that turned into a career. And I've said this before, I never wanted to be a chef. I never want to open a restaurant. Never say never, but like those were never my goals. But I love food so much. And I think what drew me to it is that it's a connector, because I was at a moment in time where I wanted to explore my creative side, and I thought about fashion, and I thought about a lot of different things, art, photography. But then when it came to food, I realized that it was the one thing that everyone had in common. And for me, that's what drew me to it, because I never wanted to alienate anyone from what I did. I can't explain that. And because I was writing at the time, I wanted to write about food and I wanted it to be accessible to so many people.
Okay.
And I think it's just something that I knew very well. Like, I just loved it. It came to me very intuitively. I love to cook. I love to spend time in nature, and that's a part of it. And I think with time, as I started exploring different things, and I've been doing this for 15 years now, maybe even 16 at this point, I started realizing that food was not just a part of our everyday, but it's a part of who we are and our identities. And I always like to approach things from an academic side. So then I was like, okay, food, culture, how can we be creative? How can we use food to tell our stories? And I think a lot of us also use it to find our identities as well, or define who we are. Like it's something that people use to express themselves as well. I don't know if this answers your
No,
question.
definitely. I mean, that makes so much sense. And what I love is that how much you combine everything. So you've got this academic side of you where, you did go to Oxford, University of Oxford, and McGill, but like you have such an academic background, but then such a creative, spiritual nature as well. So you merge all of them without probably even realizing. So, but do you feel your spirituality comes through in the food side of things or in your profession?
I mean, yes and no. I think it's what guides me. Like, and I recently discovered, or started distinguishing between my instinct and my intuition.
Okay.
And I feel like I use both. But for a long time, I thought it was just intuition. But then I was like, oh no, it happens in separate parts of my body. And when I feel it like in my upper part, that's intuition. And then when I feel it in my stomach and my gut, then that's more instinct. Actually, this is what I'm trying to do today. And this is how I'm trying to approach my work today, is how do I bring in this world? And I've always wanted to kind of combine my world. So I was doing photography, I was doing writing. Then I got into food. So I'm like, how can I create that? And then I started consulting, and then I thought about the culture components and like, okay, how can all this come together? And now I truly believe in kind of the work that we need to do within to find our purpose and do things with authenticity and like with meaning. And I always want to, like, I'm always searching for that meaning in my work. And I find that that's very much rooted in your sense of self and how you're looking after yourself and your spiritual body. And so I think it all is connected, and I'm trying to find ways to incorporate that. And this is the first time I talk about it. I think, thank you for like asking and giving me this platform. But I think it's very important that we integrate that into our work.
Yeah.
Like that meaning and that, I don't know, it's this.
Well, I think it's a sense of helping others in the most simplistic form, because if you're able to do that inner work, which is very in keeping with what I'm doing also at the moment in a different way, but it's, let's say, getting to the root of where those little obstacles might be. Mm-hmm. And then once you understand, okay, this is why I've held back, or this is why I've been behaving this way, or this is why I've felt like I'm not enough in this scenario, or whatever it may be, figure out why, get past that, the why, and you're free. Like, you're free from that, and you can move forward.
Yeah, and I find like it's always a constant struggle, because you go through the cycles where like I'll get over it, but then it'll show up again.
Yeah.
And so it's like this constant need to.
Well, it shows up
working.
again. It shows up again until you're really done with it, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so, but I
like
feel
you think you're done.
You think you're done, and then it shows up again, and then it shows up again, and sometimes it takes different forms. But
Can you give me an example of something, just because this will be easier for maybe listeners to visualize or understand? But can you give me an example of something that, let's say, that may have held you back from a young age or now, and then how it has showed up, and then maybe how you're handling it?
I mean, you said something earlier that really just stood out, because this is the thing that I'm working on. I always feel like I'm not good enough, or whatever I'm doing is not good enough. So I'm constantly...
You doubt yourself a lot.
I doubt myself, but that also means that I hold myself back. So let's say I'm working on something, I'll procrastinate, or I won't get it done, or I won't put it out there. And it's happened at times where like also some things fall into my lap, and or just I do organically and I don't think about them. And those are the things that end up seeing the light of day.
Yeah.
And it's when I'm not in my head, and it ends up happening, and it makes me feel good. So it gives me that boost, and it gives me that confidence. And so then I'm like, okay, I need to do more of that. And these things happen. And I haven't been able to figure out like the algorithm or the pattern, because I'm currently working on several different things. Yeah. And some things seem to flow, and I don't have to think about them, and I'm just doing them. Like I just throw myself into them.
I love those easy ones that really come to you.
And they're not necessarily easy, but it's just like, I don't know whether it's working with someone else and then there are things that I want to start but don't end up starting. And I actually haven't figured out if they're not meant to happen, and that's why I keep thinking I'm not good enough, or do I just need to get over it and do the work? So I'm constantly trying to balance between both
like,
things.
okay, then you were talking about intuition. So what does your intuition say? And then how do you decipher between intuition and fear? Do you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between... So I've always found it really hard, because I had quite a lot of anxiety in the past. Thank God not anymore. But I found it really hard to decipher between my gut telling me that's a no, or is that just fear?
I think I was reading something, or I can't remember if it was something I read or something I heard, but it's about that like first instinct.
Jerk.
Like that, it was just like, it's a split second.
But is that everybody? Because then according to human design, some people's guts have that ability, like a really strong gut feeling, and others don't have that.
I mean, I would probably say that I'm of this, because sometimes I take on a project and my gut keeps saying no and keeps saying no.
Yeah, like you and my husband, for instance, I feel like your gut, the initial feeling is it, and let's say he moves forward with it, and he'll be like, see, I told you, like, as in it didn't work. You know, he just knows.
Same for me. Yeah. I had something that I did, a couple of years ago, but the first thing was a no, and I had said no, and then I did it anyway. And I really...
It didn't work out?
Really struggled. I can't say that it didn't work out, but it took a really big toll on my...
So what didn't fit with you?
So many things. So many things. And so, I had a call for a project recently, and my instinct was no. But then I carried on, and I also want to give things a chance and be like, okay. And so it's difficult to try and balance between also saying no to opportunities, because I feel like these are gifts from
definitely
God, the universe, And so I always want to entertain it. And then if there's something that's really wrong, so there is, I think you have to use a combination of tools. You have your intuition, you have your instinct, you have like, that's your gut feeling.
Yeah.
And then there are other factors that come in. And sometimes it's good to do something that's uncomfortable because that's where growth happens. Like I always feel like something might be really difficult, but
it
maybe
can be a win-win because
it can be because I try to look back on things that maybe didn't work out, and I don't have regrets.
Yeah.
Even like difficult things or not so great things that happened to me, because I feel like that was a big lesson, and like try to see what I can take away from it, and like look back and reflect on, like we talk about the inner work and the growth, like how did that help me move forward in my life? Even I feel like before I got into food, I had a string of failed jobs and I thought I was such a loser. I really killed my self-confidence. But had I not done them, I kind of got really good at knowing what I didn't want to do. And so that's how I frame it. I'm like,
and how you didn't want to feel also.
I'm like, that's a definite no. Like I tried it, great. And I think for me, I had graduated with a degree in like strategic management and marketing, and I was
that was McGill.
That was McGill, and so I was like, I need to do something in like consulting or business or like use my brain, and I did so many jobs, and I was like,
that's exactly like me, like going in with this. I'm going to be in business. What does that even mean? It doesn't even mean anything. So you end up thinking business, but then that moves to finance or banking or something extremely corporate. Yeah, it's just that's not you.
It wasn't, and it's funny, my mom...
And our schools didn't help. We went to the same school.
Yeah.
Our school kind of either pushed you... It was kind of like a black or white. You're either going to be a really successful banker or you're going to be a very poor creative. Does that
For sure,
that
and
make
actually
sense?
there was like the science and like arts.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, I remember I had one course that would like determine which one I was on, and I took the one that would make me a science...
Yeah,
track.
Same.
And honestly, it doesn't make a difference. I think I resisted that for so long. I remember when I was applying for university, my mom's like, do something in art. I was like, no. And I was miserable. And I feel like maybe...
But why? So
I think
again,
it was
go
our
back to that.
generation.
Our generation, but we didn't do something in art. I can speak for both of us, although we've never had this conversation.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it's less than. It had this less than
absolutely.
thing to it. Like you won't be as financially successful and you won't have this like prestige about you.
For me, it was more about people thinking I wasn't smart enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Prestige.
Like it was just like that. It's but I now realize that was, and I guess lack of exposure, maybe immaturity, and
there was a wiring. I think definitely
like conditioning.
In
I think
our
it's
time.
social conditioning.
Yeah.
I think it was our school, maybe.
Definitely.
I remember my mom insisting. She's like, "Go do something artistic. Like I know you. You're my child. Like go be free." And I was like, "No," and she's like, "Fine."
So no one ever told me that, but. Even if they had, I would have been like, nope, I'm going to go and do X, Y, and Z. So I guess it's no one's fault but our own. We just learned this way.
And I think for me, that was where, like looking back, I had set so many boundaries for myself. Like I was really uptight about how things needed to be. And just about generally, like I feel like I was very, like, I can't say I was anxious, but it was like I had to be a certain way and I had to be viewed a certain way. And that was the only way. And then
where did that come from?
I don't know, this like need to be like this feeling that I wasn't good enough or that I needed to be a certain way.
So look, generally what happens, I mean, but when you go to therapy, when you do these things, anything, any form of digging, unfortunately, the parents end up getting a lot of blame, okay? And I don't like that. Like, I really don't like that because it's very much this is like a soul thing that you're here to learn.
I never blamed my parents because I think I had, it wasn't that for me.
Which I like.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Self-imposed.
So you felt like upbringing-wise, you had supportive parents?
I had supportive parents and my parents are so different. Like, my mom's a creative and my dad's a Bedouin and very much rooted in tradition, but also made me feel extremely safe. And so I had that safety, and then my mom gave me the freedom and that safety of being who I wanted to be. And she tried to nurture that, and I resisted it. And I don't know why. Like, I don't think it came from either one of them. I don't know if it was my placement. I have 3 siblings, and I'm a typical middle child. And so I created rules for myself. But I don't, like, I think it was something I came into the world with and had to learn to work with.
And what does that self-doubt that you feel, I think you still feel like you battle with a little bit.
Always.
Self-doubt, which links to being worthy, really. It's like, am I worthy? Am I worthy enough to be doing this? How does that look on a day-to-day for you?
I think my conversations with I'm much kinder to myself now. I think also after becoming a mother, that kind of changes your dialogue, your inner dialogue.
Because you don't want your kids to be like that.
It's not just that, but I like have learned to connect with my inner child a bit more and be a bit more like, I remember when Haya was born, my eldest, and like I remember she screamed so much as a child. And then just her personality was coming through. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how she's going to be when she actually grows up. And then it's the same personality. Like she's still like strong and feisty and like will scream when she wants something.
She's also very like you.
And I connect with a lot of that. But what I see now is that you come in as you are. And like, even though there were no words, like she was trying to communicate something at the time, like now there are words attached to that, like that fierceness and like beautiful like energy that like just, she's very intense in a beautiful way, but that was there and it's still there and it's just now attached to words. So I actually can communicate with her. When she was just born, I was like, what do you say? What do you trying to tell me? You know, but then I was like, oh, but I must have, like, we're all like that. We all come in with our personalities. Like there's no changing that. I don't know. It's just, so then connecting.
I'm actually just thinking now back to like when Khaled was born and he hasn't changed much. He just can verbalize.
Yeah.
And it took him ages to verbalize and now he can verbalize. I'm like, okay, stop. Like, love ya. But we've done enough talking for today. Which is incredible. It actually makes me really emotional because I'm just like, wow, we've gotten here, you know?
Yeah.
But so okay, you younger years were in Jordan, you're Jordanian.
Yes.
And
a bit here too, in Dubai.
That's true.
The 90s.
That's true. That's
and that shaped me a lot. I think that's where I started to kind of really, I feel like it exposed me to a lot of things because Amman is very, like we went to the same school, so everyone was the same and you had to be a certain way. And I remember being here and having friends from all over the world and different nationalities and different languages. And Dubai was much smaller and much more, I don't know, it was very relaxed. And so I got to know a different side of myself then. And I was, of course, still like also teenage years. So that's like that moment.
An exposure to maybe different kinds of kids.
Everything. Yeah. It was very different. And then I moved back to Amman. I was like, oh my God, like everyone's the same. And then I had to like go back to that, which wasn't bad, but it was like, I learned how to balance both worlds.
No, I think moving countries at whatever age when you're younger, pre-18 is so character building. Like it's tough, but it's very character building. I really hope my kids are able to have an experience outside of
and I think
Dubai or even the Middle East. Like
I think moving is a life skill.
Yeah.
Like being able to move somewhere and build a life and
adapt
and make friends. I remember my older sister moved here 3 or 4 years ago. And she was like worried about it. And I said, listen, I think when you move somewhere, like your kids, you all need this as a family it's a life skill. Just give them this life lesson and don't be so worried about it.
Definitely. It takes time. Definitely. So back to Jordan, I mean, it's your home.
It's home, it's my identity.
So it is your identity.
It is, for sure. Okay. And I feel so grateful to be able to identify with a place as home. And it's important for my kids to also have that because it gives me a sense of grounding, a sense of security.
Yeah.
And especially with what's happening in our region, like I feel like we're very lucky to be able to have that, you know?
Yeah, so Jordan, I mean, it's still home to me even though, let's say, I don't go as much and it's one of the only places I'll say that is home. Even though I live here now, it still feels like home. But it's to me, what the first word that really comes to mind is tradition. Like it has so much tradition, culture, like it's in
Yes,
root. It's just
absolutely.
rooted in the everything, in the way that you live, in the food, in the community, etc. So do you find that it's difficult, because if you're saying that's your identity, or I'm saying that's what it would look like, then do you find it difficult to sort of manage between this traditional versus modern world? I don't know if that made any sense.
No, it does. I understand what you're saying, and I kind of go back to what I was telling you about, like having my dad and my mom being very different and giving me different types of safety. I think that goes back to also my identity and sense of self. And like, I grew up knowing a lot about my roots and our family and our history of our family. And my dad was very much like, it's a part of our like identity and existence.
Yeah.
And so that gave me, I guess, you know, when you're secure in who you are, then that gave me that sense of self and sense of security. So when I'm traveling or I've lived in so many different places, like it gave me this sense of self. And so I felt the safety that my mom gave me to be creative and to explore and to go with the flow and be open.
And your mom's very spiritual.
My mom is extremely spiritual.
Like she was probably one of these pioneers back in the 90s when nobody knew what Reiki
When it wasn't
or
cool.
homeopathy
When it wasn't cool.
It wasn't a thing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Wow.
And I got exposed to that. I remember getting my Reiki attunement at 12, the first one. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
12 or 13. I think I was 13. And my mom was like,
but now,
No, but it was like-
but now everything makes sense. You're like, Yasmin, I just felt that, like you're like telepathic almost. I'm like, okay, well, if you've been doing Reiki since you were 12, that makes so much sense.
I didn't even understand what it was, but I'm like, okay, we're doing this. Like, and what I loved about my mom is that she just like kind of took us on her journey with her.
Yeah, exactly. With no fuss. I feel like it was just like, this is
Like we
normal.
didn't think about it. Like,
this
it's
is
like
easy.
going to the gym or going to the dentist. She's like, oh, I signed you up for this course, and this is how you're spending your weekend.
I have to tell you something so funny. I walked into my bedroom last night and I saw Tara holding my pendulum, which she's obviously seen me use, and she's holding it. Anyone who knows what a pendulum is, great. If you don't, you can Google it. But she's holding my pendulum above her hand and it's moving. It's literally like circling. Yeah. And she's just staring at it. Then she sees me. She's like, just gazing into my eyes, and I'm like, uh-oh, I guess we have another one.
There we go.
So funny.
Welcome to the club, Tara.
Welcome to the club, Tara. I'm sure Haya and Aya will be on their way too. So, okay, so Jordan is extremely important to you.
It's home. It's home.
Food is such an important thing to the culture. I can see, and obviously you enjoy it. Like everything about food is so enjoyable for you. The cooking part, the picking, even picking the stuff from the garden. Like it's just
I think it's the sensory component.
The tactile part.
It's tactile. It's presence. It's intentionality. It's doing something with love. And like I said, food is this tool. It's the best tool. Like everyone has a first food memory and a favorite food, and
it's healing.
It's very healing. Cooking for others, even sharing a meal with someone. That's like, I think, the ultimate form of intimacy when like you have a really nice dinner with a friend, and
even just cooking a meal for your family,
making toast with butter or like with Lebanon or whatever.
Really
like
cooking a nice meal for your family is so underrated. Like it's one of the most beautiful things you could ever do, and just sit around together and eat it. And I know that sounds funny, but with the amount of ordering food that we have, and then kids having like a sandwich by themselves these days, like just coming around the dinner table or lunch table together is so nice.
And it's funny. I mean, we do that it's a part of our daily like routine to eat together. But what I love about Ramadan is that there's a certain time that we're all eating together, and it's every day for a month. And it's transformational as an exercise, because it's like, okay, it's 6 or 6:30 and then there's also a ritual attached to it. So when we think of food and culture.
Oh, that's really nice. I didn't think
and that's when I started connecting the dots, because I was like, I want my work to be more about just restaurants and food. And because of the work that I do, I'm boxed into this like identity at work when I feel like I'm so much more, and I care about so many more things, or many more things.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, but food is culture, culture is food, and it's just a way, it's just like you use words to communicate. Like food is a way of communicating as well. That.
Yeah, definitely. Home. So obviously Jordan's your home, but if you had to describe home as is it a feeling for you or is it a place?
I think it's a feeling and the people associated with it. So my family is home, and I imagine it's where they are, and it's just like, and the feeling I have around them, I think. And of course, I land in Amman, and I just...
You can breathe.
I can breathe. It just feels comfortable. But then that's happened in everywhere I've lived. Like I just went back to Japan, and I went in, I was like, oh, I'm home. It feels very familiar.
Oh, well, that's great then,
You know?
if you're able to feel that in more than one place, because that's not common.
That's not common. And then even San Francisco, and I lived there for almost 7 years, 6 or 7 years, and I had a very difficult relationship with San Francisco. Like I didn't feel at home when I was living there.
Why do you think that is?
I didn't feel good, and the energy there just didn't feel good. Like it was very heavy, but that's where a lot of my growth happened. That's where like I faced a lot of my demons and had to do a lot of inner work and like change the way I saw the world or saw myself. It's just a lot of work that happened there.
Didn't you give birth there?
I did, to Haya, yeah. But even just career-wise, it's where I really found my...
Niche.
Not just my niche, but felt very empowered because I was working at a startup. It was a very successful startup. And I was given room to be and to create with no questions asked.
Okay.
So it gave me that creative freedom. And then I don't know why we had looked to the West for like validation, but being in San Francisco at the time, at a startup, in that particular environment, and to have been appreciated.
It empowered you.
Oh my God, it empowered me. And I was also working with people that I had admired for so long. So it was like, what am I here? Like, how am I here?
Yeah.
And how am I...
Imposter syndrome a little bit?
Always.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Always.
No, I'm just joking.
No, but like there's like that.
There is an element to it
there.
though. You have to, I feel like you genuinely need to just own it and
be like, okay, I'm here and let's
act a little bit.
It's not about acting. It's like, oh, I'm here. Okay.
But
what do I do now?
It's not literal acting, but it's how you would be, like you have to act the confidence that you want to project and feel at the same time.
I think,
not act the persona or
So there's a bit of that, but then also a bit of the acceptance. Like when I saw you just this morning, I said, I gave you a compliment and you're like, I can't.
I'm not very good with compliments.
No, but my point is, if you're given this opportunity, you're like, oh, I'm given this opportunity. Like, how do you accept the compliment of the opportunity? Say, okay, I deserve this. Like, I worked hard for this. And it's like trying to find the balance. And so, like, that's the inner dialogue. It's like, oh, I'm not good enough. And are they going to find out that, are they going to fire me or da da da?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, wait, like, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm going to do my best.
Exactly.
So it's like.
Perfectly said.
You know?
No, perfectly said, and very good example. So I think I can relate to you on so much of what you're saying, to be honest, as well.
And I think we need to remind ourselves of these.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's human as well. Like, we're just human beings at the same time going through this experience. And it's very nice, in my opinion, and important to be very honest with what we all go through. This is actually the whole point of this podcast. It's like people go through all these different changes in life, and they're not necessarily easy, and we feel things on a daily basis that aren't necessarily easy, and all you see these days is just curated stuff and curated content
of perfect
success and empowerment and this is. But I can't take it. It really just makes me feel upset with the world to a degree. I'm not saying we have to sit here and just discuss like Dr. Phil and be in therapy for all the time. But I like honesty. I like people to like tell you the amazing things that are happening with the struggle.
They're not so amazing, and it's always a struggle. There's always
it's like easier for people to relate to, and like anyone can then be like, okay, I can take that step. I can go after what I want, and I just find that really important.
Absolutely, and I think we also need to be realistic in our like when we're talking about like the opportunities and being good enough and the imposter syndrome, but also there are moments where like actually be honest with yourself, like, am I good at this?
Yeah.
Do I exactly like, you know, there's an expression in Arabic that they use for children, like الإرد بعين مغزال, but like also just kind of like, am I like, let's be real, like, am I good at this? Or like sometimes like, okay, I need to let this go. So like
that's what. So okay, so I read this book. This book really, I think it was when I was pregnant with my first kids. I was like reading, like kind of on how to raise kids. You know, I didn't know anything about, like, I hadn't even touched or picked up a child in God knows how long. So I was doing a lot of reading. I even did a child psychology course, by the way.
Amazing. Of course you did.
I don't think it really did much, but whatever. I had all this knowledge in my head, but there was this one part that was saying, if your child comes to you with artwork, not when they're 2, 3 years old, maybe when they're like older, 9, 10, 11, and they're really like, Mom, look at my artwork, isn't it amazing? Would you be honest with them? Or would you I humor them?
I read a similar thing where you have to compliment the effort that went into it as opposed to the product. So it's like, oh, you must have worked so hard on this.
Oh, no, do you like it? You ask them, it's not about whether I like it, it's like, do you like it?
Ah, okay.
That's what it was. But no, like I feel being honest with kids gently in a compassionate way, not brutally honest where it's like, no, that sucks. But compassionately honest is really important.
I think I need to think about that.
Yeah,
because I feel
it.
like, again, then we talk about our children a lot and how do we empower them, and you have boys and a girl. I have girls. And so I think parenting is quite different.
I'll give you a really funny example, okay? One of my kids, I'm not going to say which one, came back from school and had done some sort of test. And he's like, I did so well. The teacher said I did amazing. That part, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but whatever. The teacher said I did amazing. I got 20 out of 43. And I was like, amazing. That's good. And my husband I'm going to crack up. My husband overheard it as well. And he's like, okay, so you got 50%. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. And honestly, he was just so proud of himself that we weren't going to go, oh, well, you know, you barely passed, basically.
Yeah.
We're like, that's really good. I mean, did you feel good afterwards? He's like, yeah, it was really long and I got a headache, but like, you know what? I finished it.
I did it.
And I did it. And
so the effort went into that.
For a kid that, for instance, last year might not have even finished it and walked out the classroom. So I think you have to look at it as to where the kid is at and then base what you're saying on that.
Yeah. And I think that's to go back to our childhoods and the pressure that was put on us, because for us it was academic, and I used to do well at school, so I felt like I was, like if I didn't do well or if I didn't fit the part, then I was a failure. Whereas like I wish someone told me that, like, oh, by the way, your grades don't matter. Like,
by the way,
like, I don't want my children to hear this, but like, or maybe they should, I don't know.
When I left IB, I did really well in IB, and I was like, oh, I'm the best. Like I'm untouchable. It means nothing.
It meant nothing.
Oh, it does tell you a lot about how hard you're willing to work, I think, like the dedication to putting in the work. It told me a lot about that as a person.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. But the actual grades part,
like,
yeah. I mean, it did dictate where you go to university.
Okay, so that opens doors, and you do have opportunities, and of course, but I think the world has changed today, and so
I don't even think our kids will go.
Like, I think my philosophy with my children is that if they're happy and feel safe and secure, then they're going to do well regardless.
Yeah.
So if one has a tendency to like math, then if she's happy, she's going to do well in math. If she doesn't like math, like there's no amount of effort or that's going to make her, like, you either have it or you don't.
Exactly.
Like, of course there's practice and discipline, etc. But also if she's unhappy, then I'm like decreasing her chances of being good at whatever she wants. So I just want her to be happy and like exert her efforts into what she finds interesting and hopefully do well there. Like, I don't know, it's just...
Okay, so I think I want to ask you about your pivot. This was the easiest conversation I've ever had, because I feel we're really good at sitting and talking about life
for hours.
Yeah, for hours. And I hope viewers felt like they were having a coffee with us and part of this conversation. But I want to talk about your pivot. So if that's not something that you sort of brought up already. So can you tell us about a pivot that you've gone through, big or small, an internal one, a more environmental one, since, over the years that you feel has affected you?
I mean, I can think of 3 that came up in this conversation. I was telling you how I was so strict with myself. And there was a pivot there where I became a bit more free. And I think that informed. And I'm trying to pinpoint the moment that happened. And I think it's when I got into my master's program. I had quit because I had a series, I told you, of jobs. And I had that last job that was great. I was working in setting up a journalism education program, a master's in journalism. So I had a great boss. But then I decided, okay, I'm going to go and do my master's in writing, finally. I'm going to pursue the arts.
And this was at Oxford?
This was at Oxford. And I think it was the Oxford part that maybe, I'm going to do arts, but at Oxford. So it kind of cancelled out.
I'm allowed to do the art because it's at the best, one of the best universities in the world.
So it was kind of like this I don't know, permission.
Yeah.
To explore that. So I think there was a pivot there because that's when I found food. And that's when I started my blog. And then I discovered this world of, I think, I don't want to say it's food. I think it's the act of creating something and putting it out there. And basically it was the blog, and you publish it and it's out there for the world to see. And
so journalism, you really enjoy that.
It's I want to say writing or creating because I was also taking photos. I was writing recipes. I was making videos.
That's extremely creative. And
that was a shift, a major shift, but it came so naturally. But then it came naturally, but also there was a lot of effort and a lot of learning that I had to do, but I did it all myself. But it somehow was very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think about it. And so that was, I think, my first pivot was allowing myself to create, but also feel the rush of creating something, and then also getting the feedback. It was a really nice feeling. So I would say that was my first one.
It's still alive, this blog?
It's somewhere. I don't
could I access it?
I pay the domain fee, but I don't think you can access it. I think I muted it.
I really see that coming back.
There's something coming back, and I don't know what form. And I feel like I had to go through this 15-year journey to kind of. And it had it was a play on words. It was called culinary at the time.
Yeah, that's cute.
Very cute, I thought. But then I was like, ew. And now I'm like, oh, maybe bring it back. Maybe bring back something else. But I have to, you know how sometimes you look back on something you wrote, or then you cringe a little bit, and I do feel that way about it sometimes, but then I have to also say that this was a gift from the universe. It kind of helped me open up and explore a whole new world and create a job for myself.
Yeah.
Actually, that was it. It was
you created that on your own from scratch. Do you know what I mean?
And I defined this job for myself. I was like, I want to do something. This is what I like. This is what I enjoy doing. And so this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that was
But you've continued to do that. You've literally continued to do that maybe from then till now, whether it be, doing all the consulting for that huge food festival in Amman. And then you've got all the projects that you've consulted on here. So people want to work with you because of your skills and your experience and your eye and all the things which, I don't know, you'd maybe go to one person for that and one person for that, but you have everything in one.
Thank you. I don't.
Yeah, and I think it's just you need to learn how to really put yourself out there.
I think I have an issue with that, putting myself out there. But also, it's funny you say that because my thoughts recently are, how do I design my life?
Yeah.
How do I design the life that I want to have with intentionality? And I, now talking to you, it's coming to me I designed my career.
You did.
I did. And I did. And I know that I did because I'm always asked how did you get into this? I'm like,
you created it.
It was by chance, and yes, I was lucky, and yes, there was.
But Leen, it doesn't exist. It's not it's not a job that a single job that exists. You've merged things together and created this profession, which is more like an umbrella.
Yes, yeah. I guess
things that you can do.
And I struggle to define it, and I actually worked
even me
with my friend Sarah Amigi on she's a business coach, and she helped me define what I do. And I finally like,
Okay, so what is it?
well, I'm a food and culture consultant.
Food and culture consultant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it took a long time to figure that out, because I also had a hard time putting myself out there or defining what I do. I feel like a lot of it was fear.
Yeah.
And also, like, I hate talking about myself. You know, like, it's just like, okay, this is what I do. And if you've worked with me...
That's sad, because you have so much to say and so much to give. And you're extremely humble and you have a lot of humility, but people, like, they're not going to know about you.
I understand, and that's my exercise now. It's like, okay, how do I put this out there in a way that makes me feel comfortable? And because I also want to feel comfortable.
Yes.
Because then I'm not authentic if I'm uncomfortable. So how do I find a way to talk about my work? And
I think it's like this.
It's like this. And I think it's also working very close. Like, I have people that I work very closely with and continue to work with. And that's like, that's the ultimate form of, like, that's the ultimate compliment when someone's like, oh, we did so well together, let's do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so for me, it's like, okay, there's this validation.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do that on a bigger scale now. But I'm still figuring out how I want to put myself out there in a way that's comfortable for me, where I can be authentic and myself and not feel like I'm...
But it might not always be comfortable, Lino.
I know, but I need to be genuine in my... Like, so I'm not comfortable with Instagram.
Being genuine and
for
being
example.
Comfortable might not be the same.
Okay, and I need to look into that.
Yes.
That's work that I need to do, and thank you for...
Because being uncomfortable is actually really good sometimes. Like, the best things I've ever done, I've been really uncomfortable, and by the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing. But I was brutally uncomfortable. Like, I would say my first pivot workshop, the hour before and leading up to that, I was like, what? Like, what is happening? I was really deeply nervous, and I don't really get nervous, and uncomfortable, but it was incredible afterwards. And now I have another one, and then I have another one, and then I have another one. And
that's inspiring, and I love the way you just do things. You do things. You just go for it, and I admire that.
Look,
so much.
That's something I really would like to, if I could leave anything behind, it would be to my children. Go and try everything. And
I love that, and like, I look at you and I admire that. And
thanks, girl.
You know, really. And you do it, maybe there's fear, maybe there's anxiety, like you said, but like, to the outside world, I don't see that. I see you going for it, and I see someone who's super brave, you know, and
I am brave.
Intentional.
Thank you. And I do have courage, but then everything you were talking about today, sort of this self-doubt, and even now what you're saying about Instagram and needing to be comfortable, I've been battling that, I would say, for years. And I'm just done now. I'm like, you know what? I've got all this knowledge and all these tools and so much to give, and everything I'm giving is the stuff I've been doing over years, and I'm ready to share it. And this is very much it's a service. It's for people to better themselves, for people to feel better. It's for people to, like, step up into a much higher phase, you know. And I feel that's sort of where you're going as well, within yourself, within your industry, what you're going to offer. And I can just imagine it being incredible.
I hope so. And I think it's just, I'm looking at the poster behind you and it says failure.
What? Are you joking? That's so funny.
Small price to pay for wisdom. But
wait, it says, read it again.
Failure, in brackets noun, a small price to pay for wisdom.
Okay, and the poster behind you says persistence, something, what? Something talent can never replace.
And then there's hustle and execution.
Look at that. Okay. The walls are talking to us.
So, but I was looking at that, and I was listening to you, but like, that was like, and I'm not afraid of failure. And this is the work that I've been doing. I'm afraid of success.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, again, holding myself back.
I'll tell you why. Because you don't know what it looks like.
And I don't know if I deserve it.
Okay, so there's two parts
like,
there.
Like, a part of me knows I deserve it, and then a part of me, that part we all have, is like, do you really? Are you good enough?
So there's the self-doubt again, but then it's success and failure.
It's success and failure, but like, I failed before, so I'm like, oh, it's fine.
But no,
it's not so bad.
And you know what that feels like, so
Yes.
you're not really that scared of it. You're like, I've been there before. I understand that feeling.
Yeah.
success or like very sort of big success, which maybe you haven't experienced, but although of course you've had loads of wins, but really big success is something that it changes you because your whole life might very much change after that, and I think you're scared of that change.
Of the unknown.
I
think it's the unknown. But yeah, then there's overthinkers, inner dialogues. Sorry, it's just like this. There's a lot coming at me.
So much content in this room. My goodness. By the way, and I've sat in this room like 25 times, 26 times. I've never even noticed. That's
I'm
so
always
funny.
like, I'm looking for messages from the universe. So I'm like, okay.
So what me and you do, I wasn't even going to mention this, but I think we have to go there.
Sorry.
So no.
There we go.
Exactly. There is a sign.
Here's your permission.
So the permission for me to talk about this is given. But me and you are very into numbers.
Yes.
Do you want to say a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, I see numbers all the time and I see patterns and like themes. Like sometimes I'm seeing 7s everywhere and sometimes I'm seeing 1s and sometimes I'm seeing 3s and it varies, and sometimes it's days and sometimes it's months of just
I think
the
a lot
same
of people
numbers.
might see this too, but just say, oh, whatever, it's a coincidence. And it might be.
It might be.
To them, it might be. To me, it's not.
It's not
So
to
what
me
does it
either.
mean to you?
You know, for a while I was trying to understand what the numbers meant, but then I stopped thinking that way. And I'm like, oh, if I'm seeing the number, then it's just a reassurance that I'm on the right track or that I need to... And I try to think of, or I try to identify what I'm thinking of in the moment that I see the number.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, is this a positive thought? Is this a negative thought? And then kind of just understand that, okay, there's a message there like, oh, you're keep doing what you're doing. Or if it's a negative thought, I'm like, oh, catch myself. So it's kind of like a nudge to just be a bit more aware and
be
present.
conscious of what you're thinking, be
What you're
conscious of how
thinking,
you're feeling.
And it's just like, you know.
Okay, so I take it to a bit of a different level then compared to that. Although that's
and also,
correct.
I don't know like how out there to be on this podcast. Like you see, I'm just like we were doing so well. Like now we're gonna go crazy. And
We have an app. It's called what is it called? The numerology app or whatever it is. So this goes under the guise of numerology. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And each number does have a message.
And yes, I have a book. And
Okay, there we go. It's all coming out. You know what? I'll leave this.
Like, and Yasmin, we were just doing so
I
well.
know, we were doing so well. Stay on track. Focus. Focus, woman. So, no, what I'm going to do is I'll put in the caption of this when I post it, I'll just put the name of the book and the name of the app in case people are actually into this.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is going to go off on a whole different tangent
Yes,
if I open up
absolutely.
this door.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any other pivot that you would like to tell us about? Because that one was a good, I would say, work one that's literally put you where you're sitting today.
I think motherhood, I have to say. And I struggled after having Heya because it was this new identity and I tried to kind of figure out, and like nothing prepares you for having a child. Like no matter how many things you read or what people tell you, or like I witnessed my older sister having
Because you don't know what
two
your
children.
body's going to do.
You don't know what your body's going to do. You don't know like how tired, like there's no way of preparing yourself for that. And so I feel like I went through like a major identity crisis in the sense that like I had like this, and I was at the peak of like, let's say my career. I was at that startup in San Francisco. I was doing well. And I had this like sense of self. And then I became a mother. And I struggled because I was like, okay, I want to be, there was the image of the mother I wanted to be. And then
there was just...
No, but then also like, okay, I couldn't go back to work. I couldn't. And so I felt like I had to let a part of myself go. And it wasn't that I was resentful of that. It's just that I was like, okay, like what do I do with myself now? And then how do I want to immerse myself in motherhood, but I also then like work energizes me. And being creative energizes me. But then at that time, like I didn't have time to think or be, and then your body changes and your brain changes and your identity changes. Like I think something happened to my heart too, because before like I'd hear a child scream and nothing would happen. Now I hear a child scream and there's like something like here that just...
You're like throbbing.
Yeah, it's like this door that opens.
Yeah.
So I would say that was something, and then kind of learning how to be a mother, but then also finding myself again. there's that. And it took a while. But I think the moment that I said, okay, this is who I am, this is who I am, but also reconnect, I was able to reconnect, like I said, with my inner child and like my former self that I had also left behind. So it's like, how do you bring back all facets of yourself and welcome them all as a mother now? Because you're mothering yourself in different stages of your life. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
You know, so
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Very, very much.
So I would say that's another pivot. And maybe it's a cliche, but for me it was...
to be honest, I like it. I like that cliche because any woman who's gone through it, I would be surprised if it wasn't a pivot. Do you know what I mean?
And
it would. Maybe it is, but they just didn't want to talk about it or something. But it is obvious. But it's just. I think it's really important to share that and allow other people to understand how game changing it is for your whole life.
Yeah.
And it will. I just feel it will never be the same for a man. You know.
Like, I think bringing life
Yeah.
into this world is this privilege that women have. Like you literally grow a child and then birth it, and
It's amazing. I always tell my husband, I'm like, I wish you could experience it because of how surreal the whole thing is.
And then it happens, and you're like, did I actually do that?
Did you feel like you were? It's like a drug, like that feeling after giving birth. Like it's the most, to me, when you're past the pain part, like it's just the most alive I think I've ever felt.
For me, it was both. And I remember being pregnant with Haya and I was walking a lot in San Francisco, and my brain couldn't understand that there was a human growing inside of me. Like it just
wasn't connecting. But then I also felt invincible. I'm like half of the planet can't do this. Yeah.
And we can.
Yeah.
What a privilege.
Exactly.
You know, and so like that. And then also it kind of shows you that like life and rhythms, like there's certain things that your body can do with, like we obviously don't control it. Like it just happened. Like your body knows what to do. And so we go back to like the intuition and the instinct and like really listening to our bodies, because our bodies know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of trust that and
not fight that.
and listen.
Yeah.
I just thought of another pivot, which I had mentioned, which is now, like, how do we design our lives? Like, I feel like I'm in that moment right now where I'm looking at my life and thinking, what do I want it to look like? How can I be intentional in how I am as a mother in my, like, I feel like looking back at maybe the last few years, I was just kind of surviving.
Yeah.
Like now I want to live. Like I want to enjoy my moments. I want to be intentional in how I spend my time.
This is an intentional pivot.
Like, how can I be more present? And I feel like life in Dubai is fast paced, so you're like constantly on the go. And like I noticed that like we're just doing things like for others maybe, and even for ourselves, but it's like, oh, you go to the gym and then you go to school and then you pick up and then you have lunch and then it's this. But like there are no moments in the day where I'm like I just want to like take a stroll in a field.
Yeah.
And like, you know, now I'm going to the beach every morning. Like I'm very strict about that ritual because I was like, I want to be there and have that moment and be in the salt water.
That's one of my favorite mornings, like incredible.
You know? So how can we incorporate moments of living in our busy schedule? Like these like moments and pockets of time that are just to enjoy the moment and really be present. Even with our children, like I'd rather have 1 hour of quantity time than quality time, than like 10 hours.
3 hours at home, just like
we're
sitting,
like,
looking
really
at each
present.
other. Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
And do it separately with each child as well, and then together. But like, how do we manage?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's important to find other people around you who are also similar to you, because then you're able to create that community of people who just are a bit more like-minded. And it's not about entertaining the kids. It's about, we're just going to go for a walk. Let's just go for a walk.
And it's a walk.
Even literally, like on your streets, wherever it is, we're just going to walk. We'll go pick up something from the shop. Things that are actually difficult to do here.
But that's how we grew up.
I know, but it's difficult to do it here because of like, it's not really a walking country,
that, but,
you know?
But I feel like as children, we were comfortable with boredom.
Yeah.
We were.
Well, it was nothing like this. It was nothing like this. I was bored a lot. A lot.
Like, and now I actually miss being bored.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of inspiration and like a lot of my most creative moments came out of like staring. Like even as a child, like my craziest
Yeah.
things that I've done came out because I was staring at the wall. I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
I'm going to collect a bunch of caterpillars and like do something with them, you know, like an experiment. So like I feel like how do we bring that for ourselves, but for our children too?
Well, this is where we need to brainstorm. Oh, Leen, this was so good. Is there something you'd like to leave listeners with?
That's like a very open-ended question.
It was extremely open-ended.
Like, give me
extremely open-ended.
Give me a hint.
Okay, so if you could tell listeners a tool that you have used over the last few years that has significantly helped you, could you share that?
It's actually something that you encouraged me to do. It's like the writing.
Oh.
The automatic writing.
Amazing.
Because I feel like, and I don't do it all the time. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I journal every morning. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I try to, but like it's that first, the morning pages. And I know it's so simple, but a lot comes through for me there. And I manifest a lot through there as well. Like I find that when I put it down on paper and it's really just coming as a stream of consciousness, sort of like you're channeling.
So this is, automatic writing is from this incredible book called The Artist's Way, which I'm surprised you don't know about.
No, I've done it.
You know The Artist's Way?
No, I've done.
Oh, you did the book?
I did the book and I've done it over the years, but I remember when we first started like chatting and I was telling you something, you're like, you should do the writing. And I was like, yeah, I know, but like,
it is.
I kind of don't want to do it. There's resistance.
It's a brain dump, basically.
It's a brain dump.
And you're supposed to do it first thing in the morning when you wake up. You get a fresh notebook and you basically just start writing. And you can write your name 1,000 times. You can write good morning 1,000 times. You literally write whatever is at the forefront of your subconscious mind. And you just keep writing for, 3 to 5 pages?
3 to 5 pages.
And that's it. It takes you, 10 minutes in the morning? And what that does is remove all the clutter and noise at the front of your brain. So you can start your day in a clean, blank way versus starting it with clutter. Do you still do that?
I do that, but then for me, it's like a lot of stuff comes through.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, like there are themes that come through sometimes. And at the moment, maybe it doesn't make sense. But then I also like, depends on what's on your mind. Like, what are you anxious about? What are you afraid of? What's bothering you today? Or like, oh, I'm so grateful for X, Y, and Z. Like for me, I try to, well, again, I don't control what comes out, but like it just comes out. And whatever comes out is usually like my fears, my anxieties, what I'm grateful for, my hopes, my dreams. And sometimes it's just nothing. It's like, oh, blah, 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 like you said, like write your name. Or like I'm scribbling. I also...
Just scribble.
I scribble a lot. And that makes like, that releases a lot of tension for me.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I love that. So you would leave people with start automatic writing first thing in the morning, DM me for more information, or pick up the book, The Artist's Way, which is one of the best exercises I think I've ever done.
Yeah, it's...
But I always get stuck and stop at like, I think it's the last 2 parts. So I have to restart every time, but it's incredible. But Lino, this was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on to Pivot and sharing all of our woo-woo stuff and your incredible mind is just, I feel like you're ready to launch.
Thank you for having me and thank you for this. Like, it feels really good to be on here. So,
come back.
Yeah, like that moment of validation.
We should do this together with somebody else on here.
Yes, I would love that.
Okay. Soon. Welcome to Pivot.
Cheers.
Bye, babes. That was so good.